Hey guys, it's Levi Gates, and welcome to the Rag Company podcast, maybe DETALKSCAST.
DETALKSCAST, yeah.
I got but it's also a mixture because we have Dan Williams of the Optimum Synergy Podcast in here as well with us. So Dan, hello.
Howdy.
Welcome to all our Optimum Synergy Podcast listeners.
Yep, seasoned veterans.
Got Anthony in here with me, and of course, Miss Sydni Gwinn, who is a detailer as well.
Hello.
So this one, we mainly wanted to introduce you guys to Sydni, and she has a detail shop. She's kind of a one-woman show, and it's always fun to hear.
She's got an interesting story.
Yeah, she's got an interesting story.
How she started, what she does.
Very unique.
And a very niche market, and it's really cool when she comes in, and she's been a customer of ours for several years now, and it's always fun listening to her progress and detailing and her trying new products and all sorts of stuff, and it's always a good conversation. So I guess to put you on the spot, let's
tell
hear
us about yourself,
a little bit about you, how you got into detailing, kind of the start of it, and where you are now.
All right. So I have been in business for almost 5 years now, and I live in a community up in the Boise foothills that is about 5 miles out of town up at the hill. And so to get to town, everybody in my neighborhood has to drive down this long, windy road, no matter which way they go.
Yeah.
So I moved to Hidden Springs about 6 years ago, and at the time, from dental office management, and so I was living in a home near what is called the Mercantile in Hidden Springs, and it was just right outside, so every car that left the Merc would have to drive past my house. And at the time, my husband and I have both always been into detailing and keeping a clean car, and I didn't know what to do with myself. I was used to working, and so I had a black Pontiac G8 at the time, and I was stuck up in these foothills, and I was like, there's nobody to clean my car. And I didn't want to drive down the hill. So I was always outside washing my car, and then everybody leaving the Merc would stop and say, do you want to wash my car next?
It's a joke, right?
Yeah, like as a joke.
Says that, yeah.
And so this is the part of the story that maybe you guys haven't heard. So then I went and saw a psychic, and he told me.
We have
not heard this part of the story.
He told me that I needed to open a business of my own. And so I kind of ran it past him, and I didn't give him too many clues, but he said it has to do with cars. So
how did he come to this? Did he have a crystal ball? Was it cards?
No,
did it tea leaves?
No, I basically walked in and said, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. What am I supposed to be doing? And so this is so crazy. I was building mini Power Wheels at the time, custom with custom paint jobs and stuff.
What other
I know.
Mini Power Wheels. That's
I know, right?
What is a mini Power Wheel?
You know, the cars that kids drive?
Yeah.
Plastic
So
Power
I would
Wheels?
take them and do custom paint jobs on them. So I would, do sport themes. I would do theme ones.
I'm very interested.
We may have started.
I want one of these.
I know.
We may have started too far into it. Where did that go? I was a dental thing. I was doing custom paint. I went to a psychic. I'm a detailer.
I have no idea. Crazy ride, right?
And again, this is why we love Sydni.
Yeah. So I don't know why I started building Power Wheels, but I did. I think because when I moved to Boise and I was not working, I was really bored. But I am super creative, and so I was super happy to be back home. We moved back from Walla Walla. I was born in Boise. And so huge Bronco fan. Mm-hmm. And so I bought my son a Power Wheel, and I wanted it to be
Blue and orange.
So I painted this four-wheeler, and I did the seat, the field and stuff, had the lines and everything. It was so cool. And so then I started doing that, and I was super busy. One year I was 7 Santas. It was crazy. So... But
wait, you're Santa Claus too?
I know. So anyway, that obviously there's no money in building Power Wheels.
There isn't?
No, because it's 60 hours. No,
there would be. That'd be awesome.
It's 60 hours in a paint job, and you can only charge $300.
Yeah.
So it's pretty rough.
That's true.
So, but they were super fun. So anyway, so I went to the psychic and said, I don't know what to do with my life because building Power Wheels is probably not my end game. And so he said, you're supposed to have your own business, and he went through this whole thing. And so then I left his house, and it was 2 days before Easter, or not his house, his office. And it was 2 days before Easter. So then I kind of ran it by my husband and said, you know what? I think I should open a detail company in Hidden Springs. And so he was like, sweet, do whatever you want.
What's he do?
He works for the state of Idaho.
Okay.
So he's contracts and money stuff.
Yeah.
So that Sunday, so then I thought, okay, I'll do like 1 or 2 a month, right? Like whatever. So I remember I opened on a Sunday and I did a Facebook post that said, hey, I know how to detail cars. If anybody wants their car washed or detailed, I know how to do it. And that was like 5 years ago, and I've been totally booked ever since. Yeah. So it was really cool. And so, but then after a couple months being in business, you know, I was like, okay, people are going to start complaining. You know, there's lots of water. They don't know what I'm using. So there were some questions, and I didn't want to be exposing myself to chemicals either. Like that was something that was pretty important to me. So I was trying to figure out, you know, how do I make this good for the community, you know, where nobody is going to be upset with what I'm doing, and, you know,
because it is a small community and it's still very visible. It's
and everybody up there is super green.
Yeah.
You know, and so I had to figure out how to be quiet, how to be eco-friendly, and all of that. So, and I didn't really like using a hose because I know how much water that uses and stuff. And then I thought that first winter, I thought it was just going to shut down and be slow, and it wasn't. So I worked on ice the whole first winter I lived there. It was crazy. Yeah. Like I remember one day it was 11 degrees and I was doing an ambulance, and it was the craziest day. So after that I was like, I can't work with water anymore. So I started researching hoseless options and had tried a couple. And then that year I went to SEMA and went to the Optimum booth and found the ONR, which quickly became my favorite product. And then I'm kind of a rag snob too. So then I heard about this company in Boise called the Rag Company. So I thought, well, I'll go down there. They had just opened their first store on Chinden. And so I walked in, and I didn't know when I was going in that they carried Optimum products. So I was very excited. And I think they had just gotten them. Like they had just, literally they had the small bottles of ONR. There was like 3 things or something. So I bought it all. And literally I would drive in every week and pick up, because they only had the 32 ounce.
Carrying gallons.
And I would have to go in like every week and pick up like my weekly ration of Optimum products. It was pretty funny.
You were knocking out a mess of cars.
Yeah.
She's busy. She's busy all the time.
Yeah. Well, now it's even worse because now I use ONR on everything.
Yeah.
Everything. At that time, I was only using it on cars. Now I use it all inside my house. And
so what's kind of your routine of like, what are you doing in these cars? Are you washing them? Are you doing interiors?
Mainly
Okay.
Mainly. Okay. So I do wash some, but I'm trying to scale back how many washes I do, just because it's a lot of time, and I don't have a lot of time. So mainly details, but kind of the other funny thing is up there's, you know, a lot of mom cars, but there's a lot of bogus cars. I mean, those people are very outdoorsy. So I get all the cars from Bogus, hunting, you know, bike riders. So I mean, the cars are a wreck. Yeah. So, which is good, and it's fun to clean them up, and the customers love it. And so I'm in this little community with right now there's about 900 homes, and it's expanding. And so I have super great customers up there. It's really fun, and then it keeps them from having to drive down.
They come back too. I mean, they're great customers.
Yep.
I mean, what would you say? Are you doing a particular customer's car once every couple months? You know, a couple times a year, or what?
I have a lot that are on like a 1-year rotation, but I also have a lot that are on 6 months. So one of the other things that I'm super passionate about is education. Mm-hmm. So I feel like the better job I do at educating customers on how to care for their car, you know, they definitely stay on a more frequent rotation. Yeah. The other thing that's fun for me is I have a lot of customers that, you know, I have done the education on why their car's in the state that it is, and so then when they buy a new car, they literally call me from the dealership, and they're like, I'm drop it off at your house.
Oh,
you know, because they want to make sure that it gets totally protected.
On there,
which is super cool. And so I have cars that literally I've been the only person that I've touched, that I've only touched their car.
The only person's washed it.
Yes.
The only person's washed
and it's really amazing to me the difference in cars like that have only had washed with ONR and stuff. Like, it's amazing the difference in them. Yeah. And that's one thing that I wish that I could convey to people. Like, it's so crazy to have cars that have never been through a car wash and have never had, you know,
because
contamination on them. It's pretty
even
cool.
though it's only 5 minutes away. I joke that us Idahoans are kind of lazy in that sense. We don't really want to have to drive that far for something.
Very true.
And it's weird because like people who don't live in just Boise and Nampa and Caldwell surrounding, like I live in East Boise and I'm out there by Harris Ranch, and I won't drive to Meridian or Nampa.
Yeah. Right.
Like, that's just not, like, if Anthony goes, you should come out to my house, I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Like, it's too far, man.
Realistically,
it's too far.
it would take him probably 20 minutes to get
Realistically,
there.
it would take me 20 minutes, but I'd go, hey, I don't want to, it takes me 20 minutes to get to work, dude. I don't want to drive out to your house and I got to go past work. That's how it works in my brain.
Yeah.
Even though there's a totally different route.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's that same mentality in Hidden Springs where they're I'm not going to leave.
Right.
I don't need, I'll go to the grocery store.
Yeah, because then you have to ask somebody for a ride.
Yeah.
So then
yeah,
get somebody to
exactly.
drive that far when it's not for them.
Yeah. So you've got customers that will literally just keep their cars there.
So what do you do? A customer drops off their car. Now they don't have a car, right? They've dropped it off to you. Do they walk back home? What
Always. It's so funny. I've had people grab their skateboard out of the back and skateboard home, rollerblade. A lot of people will bring their dogs and they'll walk home.
Okay.
I do have a golf cart, so some people take the golf cart. It's pretty cool.
It's it's a custom golf cart.
Yeah, it's a custom golf cart. It says don't get caught right and dirty. It's pretty cool. So that's really fun because they can drive it all over the whole community. So I do have a golf cart. Cool. And then sometimes I go pick up the car. I have a lot of people that, and this works great for my schedule, is a lot of people that live in the community don't work in Idaho. Okay. So it tends to be kind of like a destination, like I want to live here, but I don't want to work here. And so there's a lot of people that leave, every week for work in California, Seattle, whatever. And so they just say, here's, my keys, go pick it up, whatever works for your schedule. So I do a lot of people that are out of town. Okay. So I do a lot of pick up and drop off when they're not using their car, which that's super convenient. Nicer, super convenient because it doesn't put them out at all. So I do that a lot. But yeah, yesterday I had a 9-month pregnant lady drop her car off and she walked 1.5 miles home and I was like, are you sure?
Yeah.
But she was so cute. She was like, nope, I'm good.
She need to walk that baby out.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people in that community, they're always walking, they're always running, and they're always
Well,
active.
it's a really pretty neighborhood.
Yeah.
So
It is.
There's a lot to see.
I bet the HOA, I mean, it's probably pretty strict there because I look around and everything's green, the grass is cut nicely everywhere you go, and it's just you have good vibes there, basically, and so that's kind of cool that you get to wash. So do you do everything out of your driveway or in your garage?
Only in my garage.
In your garage,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't want it visible from the community. I don't want to take away from that. I don't want, the first couple of years I was in business, I was out in a driveway because my garage wasn't conducive to that. But now it is. So now we just bought a new home up there that now I have I had a shop in my other house, but this one's a little bit better.
Situated for
So what are you doing for your wash station for people that are curious? I mean,
maybe just doing it in their garage.
A lot of people hear about a lot of new people probably listening right now hear about people washing with O&R in their garage, and they think washing your car in your garage, that's you can't do that, right?
But Dan came from San Diego, where you actually had water restrictions. Period. People couldn't turn on their hoses.
Yeah. So Dan, give me some of your, background info on garage washing, why that's okay with O&R, and maybe some other cool things that you can do inside your garage. I mean, you can do a full detail. I mean, essentially with O&R being your staple product, right? Depending on the
a full detail, wouldn't that include claying and waxing or something and extracting the car and all that stuff? But you can't really use O&R for that, but you sure can wash that thing in the garage.
To start things off, well, clay, you use it as clay lube, right?
Yeah.
When you're polishing, you can use it to extend
I used to run it in my extractor.
I run it in my extractor.
Or your steamer, sure.
Yeah.
Works great.
We're finding ways to use O&R that you don't use. I brush my teeth with O&R. I don't know if that's okay.
That's a good idea.
I'm just kidding. Don't do that. So garage washing and things like that. I mean, what are your guys' experience?
Well, how were you doing it in customers' driveways and
driveways or garage? I was mobile my whole 12, 13 years. So yeah,
you didn't run a pressure washer either, didn't you?
First, until I discovered O&R.
Yeah.
I did. And actually, when I discovered it, I started selling it for a year before I started using it because I thought it was going to scratch cars. So I would use my pressure washer while I was selling it.
Yeah.
And then one day it just all came clarity for me. Yeah. You can't, where I live, and I don't know about here, but you said that you're eco-friendly. You really can't be having water going down into the dolphin's eyes because it goes, where we are, right into the drain, right into the ocean. There's definitely, you get in trouble. Trouble's no good.
You said
when you're trying to make money.
How much was the fine if you got caught?
Maybe $10,000. I don't know. I've had a couple times where the people from San Diego, the city, and the water truck would come up and try to, shake me down a little bit, and then I would say, but I have no water going on the grounds.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple of drops.
Yeah.
But then, especially nice cars, you never even have to pull them out of the garage.
Yeah.
If you have really, really dirty wheels. The only thing...
Once in a while, if they have mud or dirt on them, I'll spray them out, but... I have a hot water hose in my garage.
And your hands look really nice, so I know if you're wearing some gloves if you're doing the inside by hand.
Yeah, but I also have learned how to operate these. I break them every now and then, but not too often.
She posted on her Facebook this morning yesterday
Yeah.
she had just got her nails done, but she made it through the whole day.
Yeah.
Broken.
Monday, Tuesday, I did like 4 of the hardest cars I've done and didn't break any nails, so I was excited.
Yeah. So it can be done, I guess.
Yep, totally. Actually, they become tools, and I think I do better sometimes.
So what's your basically, like, let's say you bring a car into your garage. What's the first thing that you do? Break down like your operating procedure.
I usually start inside, so I generally start with the vacuum, and then so I mainly do most of the inside. Like I get it all cleaned, and then I move to the outside.
Okay.
Because I want the inside totally dry before I do any protection inside. And then I wash it and then do...
And then do you also do engines and stuff with your basics? Or do you charge extra?
I do charge extra, and only if the customer asks, and I try to not do them just because that does involve a lot more. So, I mean, if somebody needs it done because they're selling the car or something, I'll do it. But I try to not do it. Before I started being more eco-conscious, I did do them every time. And I mean, I would, spray them down with all-purpose cleaner and all of that. But then I realized, that's probably not that good. So I only do them upon request, which is not very often. Usually just in like selling situations and stuff. So
it's a lot of extra work going into an engine detail that a lot of people don't really understand, especially that means certain people's level of OCD or expectations.
Totally
and so I mean, you could say I'll hit your engine really quick, and then they open up the hood and they say, oh well, there's still some dust back over there, or there's still a little little grease right here, and you say, you didn't pay me for us, but this would be like a paint correction on your engine. You didn't pay me to do this. You pay me to do a quick clean.
Well, and it ups your risk too, which
is
a little scary. I remember this was several years ago. I'd opened the hood of a Tahoe, newer Tahoe, and the whole cover was missing for the fuse box. And I almost didn't notice it, and I did. So then I was like, shut the hood, and so then that was probably the day when I was like, I don't think I want to be doing engines, because if one day I don't really pay attention, so it made me a little bit nervous. Nothing ever happened, but I was like, that's a little high on the risk.
Did you do engines?
The day I decided to not be doing engines was when this guy had a Ford Ranger pickup truck, and I did the engine, and there was a little crack in I think the brake fluid reservoir or one of them, or power steering. I don't know, but it got stuff in there, and it cost me money, and I was like, oh, I'm not doing that. And then one other time, and then you got all the cars now, they have a cover over the engine, like pretty much the whole thing. When I learned before I started using Optimum products that a degreaser is not the same as an all-purpose cleaner, and it will actually melt plastic.
No, and that's I did engines because I could, and I had the availability, so it wasn't hard. But there was always, I probably have 5 a year that you would have an issue with. It was always random, but...
I ended up, if I was going to do it, I would use a steamer and a towel, and it would be very pinpointed, and I would do little section at a time and just charge hourly for it.
And and we'd start to know. I mean, after 20 years of doing engines, you knew which cars were notoriously faulty when they got wet, and so you just say, I can't do that on that.
When I started, I thought every car wash had to have the engine clean too. I was like, it's just not good if you don't do that.
No, I'm guilty of preaching that. I figured if you're getting a detail done, you needed to have everything done and not just. But going forward, I looked at myself though, and one day I thought, I never clean my engines on my cars when I detail them. Here I am, forcing it on other people.
It's like the inside of the wheels. If you're just going to wash somebody's car and you're not going to take care of it all the time, and the wheels got 5 years of, brake dust and stuff, there's no reason to do it because those people don't care. If it's a car that you're going to touch all the time and you're going to stay up on it, that makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I learned the hard way. My first engine detail, it wasn't even an engine detail. It was just an exterior only detail. And in my head, I said, I got to do the engine first because I'm going to be making a mess over the rest of the car, right? And that's kind of how it worked in my head. I used a hose just to do some light rinsing off into some areas. What I forgot was that I was working on a hot engine, and I went to go spray the hose on there, and it was an instant sear of hard water on all sorts of stainless areas. And I let it go for a second. I came back, oh, this is pretty hot. I better let it cool down for a second. Came back, went to go rub it off, and oh, that's not rubbing off. Oh, that's not rubbing off. Oh, I got to get polish. And then I had to start hand polishing all these little stainless areas and all these little rivets and things like that. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, I just wasted hours on something that I could have prevented by maybe using a product like O&R or not making such a big mess.
So anybody listening to this, if you're starting out detailing,
Maybe don't do engines.
Yeah, just skip that engine. You just had 4 people say the reason why it doesn't make much sense to do it.
I think it's the first time I've ever heard anybody say not to do engines.
Right? That's I mean, it's not that you can't.
You can.
It's just know that you're getting
There's
some
risks.
extra work.
There's
and
risks involved.
Yeah.
And there is risks, and if it's somebody that's really meticulous and really cares for their car, and let's just say you're doing a paint correction, but other than that, they do their normal washing maintenance and things, and everything else, tell them to do the normal washing maintenance on their engine if they feel comfortable doing it.
I will say, however, I had engine steam cleaning on my website, and I would get probably 1 call a week, but it was always somebody from a mechanic about shop, and they were looking for an oil leak, and and I was like, I only do what you open it up, what you can see, and they wanted the bottom done.
And I had that too, and I'd always have guys that would call and go, I just need to get up underneath, and I'd tell them, what you can see is what I can get, and that's it.
Man, some of those guys, they have like a big grease trap, and they wear a suit, and they have big industrial steamers, and they can do the whole thing. But.
Yeah.
So I did have to do 2 engines on Monday.
Oh,
because
really?
I had these 2 old Jeeps.
Yeah.
And I don't remember the second year, but the first one was a 50s Willys. And the customer wanted the engines done, and I was like, ooh, that's scary. Yeah. So what I did was I used my Ikey Sprayer, not the foaming one, with O&R.
The multi?
Yeah, and I just sprayed it down and wiped it out real good, and it was totally fine.
Cool.
So so I didn't use a hose because I was not going to go there, but they turned out great.
Yeah, those sprayers.
And the sprayers helped,
The sprayers, I think, really helped because prior to that,
rather than
you would have been there. You would have been there with a spray bottle, and God knows how long that takes. Whereas the pump sprayers are
your new little foamer thing.
Yeah, we got to show you those.
Yeah.
You got to have to play with some of those this week.
Yeah, that foamer thing looks pretty neat. I've been watching your videos on there. Good job, whoever one of you guys thought of that one. That was a good idea.
Yeah, the video or the foamers? Those were Anthony's ideas.
The foamers.
Yeah,
like the little hand foamer.
Totally changed my business, which I just love them.
Yeah, hopefully the word keeps spreading about them, and they get in more people's hands, and hopefully we can continue to educate people on them and how to use them and why they're kind of a new great product to add to the detailing industry, especially in your detailing tools and that you have around the shop. It's
so because I do work in the garage. It's made the biggest difference for me because I can pre-soak it. Whereas before, I mean, I would do it, but when you're using and it's little tiny droplets.
You're hitting the little concentrated area.
I love being able to pump it and just literally just walk around the car with O&R and just soak that lower portion. Yeah. It has made such a big difference.
Yeah.
Way faster to wash it and just,
It's really cool to see it in action too. I actually just posted a video on this on Instagram just yesterday. I did a little slow-mo shot of me having O&R in my Ikey sprayer, my multi-sprayer, on the mist setting or the fan setting, and I hit an area, and then I zoomed in and slow-moed it so you could actually see the encapsulation of the dirt inside those winter ionic bubbles.
Zwitter ionic.
Zwitter, Z with a Z, right? And you can see the dirt actually swirling inside it, which is really, really cool.
Gathers
it all up and holds it up there, and so it kind of shows how it works in a closer level, because most people don't understand. But it's a neat tool for doing pre-sprays, absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah.
So this weekend we're doing an Optico clinic. Sydney's going to be attending. So how would she go about if she ever wanted to become an installer? Dan, could you walk us through this?
Yeah, give me your email and I'll send you an application. You fill out the application and you send it back with your proof of general liability insurance. And at that point we have to, obviously, you live far out away from everybody, so it doesn't sound like it's relevant. But for OptiCode only installers, we give them a 10-mile radius where we won't put anybody right by them, which got a little situation right here in your town with that right now.
Well, it's because there's too many of them. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so it's so good. You can't blame them for wanting.
You can't blame us.
I suppose the interview part we're doing kind of right now, so that would be covered. And then, look at the social media and stuff. Make sure you don't have horrible reviews where you're killing people's cars.
Yeah,
it's going to drag our name
This is
down.
the worst person ever.
And I don't use my social media on Facebook too much because, again, being up there in that little niche, it's a little difficult because I can't post too many pictures of customers' cars because everybody else knows whose car it is.
Yeah.
So that's been like one thing with social media that I've been like, what do I do here? So, but one of my questions would be for the coding process is what do they tell customers is their responsibility from that point forward of caring for the car? Like, is that something that I have to commit to always being the person that washes it?
No, but it sure is nice to get that money after you have it coded and keep them as a regular customer.
Yeah.
But the recommended washing is with Optimum No Rinse or Optimum Car Soap, and wash it every couple weeks or so, and don't let it accumulate too much. If you don't wash your car for 6 months and or you're driving through a tunnel car wash every day where snowy roads or whatever, then it's not gonna be as happy for you. But we have most of our guys, or when I was installing also, I would take the opportunity when they come back for their maintenance wash, because you do a free maintenance wash after the coating. It's kind of built into the price. You want to make sure that there's coating on the whole car and there's no high spots, or you show them how to wash the car themselves. And being an OptiCoat installer, you can also sell the OptiCoat maintenance line, which is only available to purchase through our installer network.
Yep.
So you have the opportunity to have some retail right there and show them how to wash the car using those products, and make a nice margin on that yourself.
Yeah, and that's what I would do. Is I'd always, after I coated the car, I'd bring the customer back in 1 month later and do a coating check. And that's where I would teach them how to wash the car using O&R. And I'd usually buy the little 4-ounce bottles of O&R, and I'd put those in the kit and that I was giving the customer. And so I'd give them a few towels, I'd give them a little bottle of O&R, and I'd give them their warranty pack and their door, the window, the mirror hanger, and all that stuff. And I'd say, all right, 1 month from now, we're going to have you come back in, you're going to learn how to wash this. And they were like, oh, okay. But I'd bring them in, they'd hang out, we'd tell them just plan for about an hour. They'd show up and we'd pick a day that worked for them. They'd come in, they'd learn how to wash the car. I would do it 2 ways. I'd do half the car with microfiber towels and half the car with the big red sponge. And that way they could see the different options. And then I always had a few big red sponges available and a handful of towels available that they could buy. I'd have a bucket, I'd have a grit guard just available if they wanted to purchase it. And then more O&R. And then usually, once they see how easy it is to clean with O&R, they'd go, oh, I can do that. Perfect. Or they'd watch me do it and they'd go, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to bring it to you and have you wash it.
Right.
I came at him more like a flying spider monkey swinging both arms and legs, and I would be like, here's my bucket with everything in it, $150.
But I'd have customers too. They'd go, how much? So I need that, and how much is all that combined? And I was like, well, yeah, sell it to you for $150. And they were like, okay.
And
oftentimes,
and then I'd
extra sale.
I'd go back to their house or something later to
use
their car, and they would not even ever have opened it.
Right. Yeah. Or I'd have customers bring it and it'd be in the back of their trunk. And they still, funny. And they're like, you can just use that stuff. I was like, all right, yeah, that's fine with me. But I wouldn't, because I already had stuff. But it was a good, I just saw it as, you go to the salon to get your hair done.
No, I don't.
They're going to sell you shampoos and conditioners. Except for Dan. But you go, they're going to sell you that. It's an extra add-on. You just had all this work done, literally.
They say, look how amazing your hair feels.
It's because of this. Yeah. It's the same thing when it comes to a car.
Yeah.
Is here's how it looks, here's how it feels, and here's how you keep it looking and feeling like that.
And really, that is important. Just educating them how to care for it, then they're not going to be let down. And not overselling it. Some people,
they want it to be bulletproof. It's not bulletproof.
It's not.
And one thing, too, that's really cool about the maintenance line that I really like is Hyperseal is probably hands down my favorite product.
I really want to try it.
In that. And so if people are bringing their car back for their maintenance wash, right? Say they are bringing it back in the future every couple months or whatever it is. Every time you put that Hyper Seal on there, it really just makes the car pop.
Yeah.
So much more. I don't know what it is, but
there's an SiO2 component to Hyper Seal.
Yeah,
makes it glossy.
So it makes it really glossy, right? And it actually lasts. It's like an additional, almost top coating, right? That lasts longer than any type of quick detail or Opti Seal would be on as an additional topper. But yeah, like you said, it has like those SiO2 components, right? That are safe, that are safe on the finish, that are safe for the towels and everything like that, and they feel smooth when you wipe them in. So it's really something that you can add on as an extra cherry on top, so it reminds them how good that you can make their car look unless they're applying it themselves, which is really cool.
Have you been doing gloss coat?
No.
That would be a really great way for you to start.
It's an easy start.
It's more readily available to anybody coating, but if you're polishing the car, and it's definitely an upgrade, probably charge twice what you would charge to wax.
Well, and I used to do, I took a Vaughn's trick, and I put it on cars that I knew I was going to be detailing more than once a year.
Okay.
So if it was I had customers that would come in every 3 months, and I knew they were coming in to get it, a wax or polish and interior detail, and I coated their car with gloss coat, because realistically it's about $20 of product, and the same amount of time it takes you to put Opti Seal on a car is when you get good at it, you can put gloss coat on in under 20 minutes. So labor-wise, it was an easy give to that customer, because I knew they were going to come back, and I knew it was going to make it easier on me
your job easier.
to wash it, because it was already coated.
Right.
And so I was like, and sometimes I would tell them, sometimes I wouldn't. Some of those customers that were interested in it, I go, hey, I put this coating on for you, I upgraded you, I just did this. And they were like, oh my gosh, wow, you didn't need to do that. And I was like, just see if you like it. And if it keeps it looking nicer, then, we can do it on your other car. And 9 times out of 10, they come back and go, yeah, I'll do that. Other times, they just bring that car in, but they loved how it looked, and so then they buy a new car, and then they'd step up to the next coating.
Right.
It's the gateway coating.
Well, it's funny because a lot of people that get coatings, they get the coating, they understand the benefits of having the coating, but half of them don't even get to see the cool magic trick that it's able to do, which is to sheet that water completely off, to repel that water, and that's a really cool trick to show them on a car that maybe you have on your car, and you can say, hey, look what my car does. And that's a good selling point right there. Or if they do have it on their car and they're coming back for a maintenance wash, and they say, have you gotten your car wet yet? And they say, oh, no, I haven't got my car wet. And you grab the Ikey Sprayer, you grab your hose, you grab a little bottle of water, and you
bottle works great.
And you say, check out your fender here, and you go and pour it off, and then you say, fill your fender. And they fill it, and they say, my fender's dry. Well, yeah, I just literally cleaned that entire thing with just spraying water on it or O&R, and they lose their mind. And they say, I didn't know, I thought the coating was just to protect it. I didn't know it did that. And you're like, yeah, it does that. Well, how long will it do that for? 2 years, with gloss coat. 2 years is going to do that? Yeah. And so, especially when you're driving through rain, Optimum has their glass coatings too, and that's another really cool thing, just to see that water just, fly right off the windshield rather than stick and hit it with their wiper blades all day long. A lot of cool little tricks that you can show that are good selling points for customers that a lot of people don't think to show them. They say, hey, your car's coated, have fun, good luck. Yeah. Your car's easier to wash. Yeah, it was easier to wash. Well, look at this. So
I always love doing the water bottle.
Make them realize the value even after.
Yeah, exactly. Because like I said, it's a really cool feature of the coating that a lot of people don't even realize. You don't see a lot of posted about it doing that.
And another thing, it might be a better coating too for like a classic car or something like that, because the warranty wouldn't really be valid. I recommend you start doing some gloss coat.
Also works great on single stage paint.
Oh, okay, because I get a lot of those.
Because you can coat
in like a show car where they're going to want it polished every year, but they're still going to want that gloss and protection.
Yeah. Cool. And I used to do a ton of classics, and that's what I would always try and sell. We had one customer that had clear on his, it was a 54 Lincoln, and we did a Pro Plus job on it. But he brought in 3 other cars after that, and we did gloss coat on them because they were all single stage paint. And he was like, and he knew the warranty wasn't going to be available on the 54, but he just wanted that level of depth and gloss. And then we took it to the Roadster show, and
Cool.
It looked great. And for him, it was a investment car. You know, it had been in a barn, and but had some work done to it, and then he finished it, and then we just topped it off. But it was fun. It was a good feature. So tell us about your new shop. You just built an entire new building,
we moved
basically.
into a new house, and so the shop is 3-car, but 1 bay is an RV with an RV door. But I ended up swapping my plans. I did the RV bay as my personal garage, made the 2-car my shop.
That's cool.
Just gave me more room around. I wasn't so worried about the height. I wanted more room around the car, so I painted it, put in some cool cabinets. I'm still working on the flooring.
What are you going to do for flooring?
I flip back and forth.
Epoxy?
I flip back and forth. I was going to do epoxy. I bought all the stuff, then I freaked out and returned it. And so I'm thinking I'm going to go with race deck, but I'm still...
Okay.
I've been struggling with this for months. I come and talk to Levi about it. I'm like, what do I do about my floor? So I haven't committed to anything yet.
Gotcha.
So I don't know. There's pros and cons both ways, but
there is.
Now I'm like, I don't want to shut down again. I was trying to do it before I opened in my new location, but it was 5 degrees or whatever. So
and that's the hard thing with epoxy. You've got to wait like a week before you can even drive on it, so you can't even be in it.
Right.
The
and
nice
we were
thing
trying to move in. I mean, it was perfect because nothing had ever been on the floor. So I was like, prep is going to be super easy. But I mean, we were trying to move and it was 5 inches of snow. So that's my other thing now is that I don't know when I'll have the ability to shut down and move out for a week.
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to go with
about
the race deck
tile because you can literally get it done in an evening and a weekend. You guys could bust it out pretty quick because once it starts going, it goes fast. And your kids are old enough that they could help assist with that.
Right. Yeah.
You give your boy a mallet and he just goes and knocks the tiles in. And,
so I'll probably go with the race deck just for ease. I mean, it's quite a bit more expensive, but
it looks cool.
It does look cool.
When you can pick different colors, you can pick different patterns, you can pick different styles, so that makes it fun too.
So new shop is cool. I got a 55-inch TV on my wall, and it looks pretty sweet.
She's watching Detox and Wash Wednesdays on it.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, watch it while I'm working.
She watches the podcast on it.
Yeah, that's really cool. No, I like to hear that.
Sometimes I watch Ellen, but mainly Detox.
Yeah,
of course. She's only watching informative, shows, learning about.
No, there was one you guys did that was an hour or 2 hours a couple weeks ago. I watched the whole thing.
What was that?
Which one was that? It was before you went to Florida, but it was really long. And I watched the whole thing. I was so
maybe
proud
we went
of
down a
myself.
rabbit hole. Maybe we go down those every once in a while. So we'll talk about some crazy stuff. But that's really cool though. I'm excited. We'll have to come check out your garage someday. Maybe come shoot some videos or just come see because you have a cool car too. That's one thing.
You got a couple cool cars.
You got a couple cool cars, and I think we're overlooking that because whenever she pulls up here, like her one car is like you see it from a mile away, and you see it, and it's always glossy, and I'm talking about your Jeep, and it's gorgeous, and it looks good all the time. So that's probably a good car that you show customers. This is what your car could look like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you have? So you have your Jeep, and you have...
Right now I have a Jeep, and I have a GTI. We get new cars all the time, so this year... Those are both going.
They're going?
Yeah, but we're getting a Challenger.
Oh.
So
they had a Challenger.
We had a Challenger SRT that was super cool, and then I made a not good decision and traded it in on a GTI.
Oh.
And I'll apologize to my husband again.
Yeah.
in front of the public for that.
The GTI is fun, but it's not as fun.
Yeah, it's not very fun.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm more of a V8 person. So, and I used to have a super cool Durango RT.
Yeah, those are cool.
So I think we're gonna go back to a new Charger, and maybe like
get you a Hellcat or maybe talk to the husband, see what he says.
Well,
shop car.
Yeah. It has to be a lease though, and the lease on the Hellcat's not a very good program. I want to be able to write it off. So, and then I think I'll probably go back to an Escalade.
Okay, yeah.
There you go.
Jeff's got an Escalade out there. You can join him. You guys can go on cruises every once in a while.
I mean, I have because they're super cool.
Yeah.
I have a Bulldog, so before the Bulldog, I could kind of have any car, but now we kind of she needs a whole row to herself.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You've got a Bulldog. Well, he's a
Boston
Bulldog.
Oh. Yeah, Boston Terrier and American Bulldog.
Cute.
Yeah. He's my soulmate.
Yeah.
Name's Spike.
Probably missing him on Valentine's Day, right? Yeah.
I do. It's funny. Every time when I travel, like the Angel, whatever, I can talk to her on the phone. But I miss my dogs.
Yeah.
Miss my dogs.
But you did send your girl some flowers. So
I did. I'm on top of it.
You did have that done. She made a post on Facebook. Even though he was in Idaho, she still got flowers. So
I read those over a month ago. I was planning ahead.
Gotta be on it, gents.
Yeah. Learn from the man over here.
And I'm like in that Porsche Macan, if there's like new cars.
Yeah.
I'm feeling that, or maybe a Tesla that's a couple years old.
So you guys have a Mazda
CX-5.
and then is that the only one you guys have, or do you have another car?
We have a 10-year-old Toyota Tacoma and a 1941 Chevy.
He's got his 41 Chevy.
That Tacoma, when I hear the word Tacoma, that always piques my interest. I know that piques your interest because we're Tacoma fans. We like those.
You know, it's just a little single cab
two-wheel drive.
Tacoma, two-wheel drive.
Doesn't matter.
74,000 miles on it.
It's
barely broken
anymore, so you know, if anything, it's going to stay at whatever it's worth now, if not gain more in value.
Yep.
So it's money.
Right?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
See, Yvonne's always riding me. He's going, you need a better car. You're a regional manager. And I'm like, you need to make the payments on it.
Exactly, right?
I have a couple Macans that come into my shop, though, and they're pretty cool cars.
I really like
they're
them.
Really cool.
There was a guy that...
they sound so cool.
There was a guy that I tagged on our OptiCoat post about our... that you posted, the post you did about the Porsche and how Porsche and OptiCoat, that Instagram post you did the other day.
Yeah. That was for my Porsche Chandler store.
Yeah. So I posted below, I tagged a Porsche salesman who just bought an orange Macan.
Yeah.
GTS. So.
Yeah, those are so cool.
Oh, it was a Cayman.
It was a Cayman.
He bought a Cayman.
Yeah,
GTS in that orange.
Those are the bigger ones, yeah?
Yeah.
Or the Macan's bigger?
No, the Macan is the SUV.
Yeah.
Cayman is the car.
Yeah.
What's
the Cayenne is the big.
Cayenne.
That's
the
the
big
bigger one.
Yeah.
Macan's the kind of lower profile.
Yeah.
Smaller.
Hot Porsche talk.
Yeah.
Brought to you by us.
We're
all, what kind of car is
we
that?
know what we're talking about, right, guys? Right? Yeah.
Porch, right? That's how you say it? Porch?
It's a Porsche.
And if you're listening in Phoenix, Arizona, you could go to Porsche Chandler and you could get OptiCoat Pro Plus on your car right there.
That's right.
Same with Porsche Calgary.
There you go.
There.
Look at that.
There you go. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, that's awesome. That's really, really cool.
So, what are your plans with your shop? Are you looking to hire more people? Or are you going to kind of stick? It's you, and then do you have any helpers?
Nope.
Your kids sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes during the summer, my daughter will help me. She's 12, and I mean by help me, I mean pretty basic stuff. But she is actually. I mean, actually, my daughter is almost to the point where she probably could do about 75% of a full detail. She's pretty good. Yeah. She's pretty good. And then my husband helps me sometimes on the weekends. I try to not make him help too much, but sometimes I'm like, hey, by the way. So he loves to help.
Yeah.
Loves
to help. But yeah,
It's cool. We did. This is the second podcast that we've recorded today. Yeah. Second woman in here that's a detailer. Neat.
Yeah,
right. It is neat. It's
that's
really,
how
really
awesome
cool.
it is.
Yeah, and so because I'm a woman, that's probably why I won't have any employees. Because I'm a little bit controlling over how everything.
She's honest.
Yeah.
So
I'm a little bit like, if my name's going to be on it.
Yeah, you want to just be your name. You want to be you controlling what the quality is and everything you're putting into it. Yeah, I totally agree. So the cars you're cleaning, your car, what's cleaner, your house or your cars?
Pre-new house, it was not my house.
Okay.
My new house is clean.
Yeah,
because it's brand new.
Yeah, because it's brand new and
I
like it.
I'm not putting you on the spot, but my cars are clean. I know, because I think my girlfriend, she always gives me crap about how my cars are immaculate inside and out. I see the littlest smudge and I have to go back over it, and hit that little area.
So
but
my cars...
my room and my office are a nightmare, and so I always have to.
My office is a lot going on in there.
Yeah.
My cars, though, I would say they're dirty, but they're cleaner than any car that comes into my shop.
Yeah.
So they're clean. Yeah. And sometimes that shocks me because I used to get my car detailed all the time when I was working, and not that I don't work now, but you know what I mean. And that was my favorite thing to do, was to have my car detailed. But now when I see the cars come in, I'm like, wow, I was really nice.
Yeah.
It's pretty shocking what comes in.
Yeah, it's crazy. We in our last episode we talked about is I noticed that there was that deviation between people who think that they're super clean and they keep their house really clean, and I have friends where you take your shoes off in their house and like they're the ones that always have the hand sanitizer for their kids and they're cleaning their don't touch it, it's got germs. And then they go and get them in their car because then they bring them to me to get it detailed, and it's a garbage can.
Oh yeah.
So straight up
like
garbage.
Worse than a garbage can. Yeah.
It looks like when you clean, like after the trash man comes and dumps out, that's what the inside of their car looks like.
Yeah.
And it's weird.
Yeah, and I always laugh and I tell people when they go, they'll call and then say, I'm so embarrassed to bring my car to you. And I'm like, great. Because those are the ones that I don't have to be worried about.
Right.
Like if they apologize and they say, I feel so embarrassed, the car's like a couple specks of dirt. It's the people that walk up and go, it's not that dirty. Here's the keys. That you're like,
you go now.
Holy
As you
moly.
open it up, you hear like the horror music.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, and you know what? I've had all kinds of stuff up there too. I've had, because there's so much wildlife around us, I've opened a trunk and had a dead raccoon.
Oh.
I've had a dead raccoon underneath the driver's seat.
Better than alive, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, better than alive. Every kind of varmint that you can think of. And I mean, I've had people that like.
How did they not know there was a dead raccoon under their seat?
I don't know.
Surprise.
It's been stinking in here. I need to get this thing
I had an
detailed.
old lady bring her car in that she had bought like 2 weeks earlier. She goes, I bought this car. It smelled great. I brought it in, or I'm bringing it to you because it stinks and I don't know what's wrong with it. It smells.
Yeah.
She's like, it's just the worst. I just bought this car 2 weeks ago. So she brings it in and I give her a loaner and she drives off. And I go out to the car and I open up all the doors and I look and I'm like, it's a brand new car. She's like, it's only her. She's an elderly woman. Like nobody has got.
This better not be a grandchild.
There's a to-go box sitting on the floor behind her seat, not under the seat, it's just in the footwell of the back seat. I open it up, it's full of mold.
Oh, sick.
It was a hamburger and french fries that she had just left in the back. It was just sitting there.
Yep.
And I took a picture of it, of where it was, opened it up, took a picture of it, pulled it out. We cleaned it. We put the ozone machine in it, cleaned out the interior, called her up, said it's ready to go. You can come pick it up. She's like, did you find the smell? Did you find what was it? Did you have to shampoo everything? Did you have to? I was like, no, there's just a to-go box behind your seat. It was full of mold. She's like, that's from my friend Judy. We went to lunch the day after I bought the car. That's her to-go box. She left it in my car. Like, I was like, she asked if she owed anything. I said, no, you're fine. Just go. But there are people that literally, it was the only thing in her car. She could have easily just opened up her back door and looked.
Yeah.
Did the stink made into the car from it? Like where you had to run the ozone? Or
I ran the ozone just to kill whatever scent was in it.
Yeah.
Because it was the easiest way to get rid of the smell. So,
Gotcha.
But yeah, it was funny though that there are people that just don't see that kind of thing.
Yeah. In the one car that the raccoon was underneath the front seat, my husband and I have never talked about it, but he was helping me on that car and he opened the trunk and then he just closed it and goes, that's not included.
No.
Like, I've never asked, but I don't know what was back there, but he was like,
what?
that's not included. He like opened it, looked, and shut it. Oh, I don't know what happened, but yeah, I mean, I have like hunting people, like,
gore.
Well, they have cars and they like put the animals in the car. Oh. Yeah, and then I had one lady that had like I don't know, it was probably like a Mazda. I mean, it was like a nicer SUV. She carried her pony around in it. So there was like hay and pony stuff all over. And I mean, it's like this nice black SUV from the outside.
Yeah.
Pony stuff inside.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
The
Pretty
stories.
crazy.
Yeah, no, that's like when I would do repossessions. And I'd get repo cars, and the credit unions would get these repossessions, and they'd go, hey, we got a $47,000 note still on this vehicle. We need to try and get as much of that back as we can when it goes to auction. And so you'd get it, and you're like, okay, if I can make this truck look like that. It's even though it's 1 year old, maybe even 6 months old, it's only got like 5,000 miles. They have literally beaten the tar out of that car. Yeah. And I've had guys bury trucks up to their axles in mud, roll all the windows down, leave it out in a mud bog, and then
Yeah.
let the animals get
or
to
the
it,
worst.
or garbage. They just dump their trash cans into it and let the car just sit with garbage in it.
Well, and living where I do, so we're like 2 hours from a ski hill, McCall, Idaho. And so everybody that lives up here, they often go to McCall. And I can't tell you how many times I get the call on Sunday afternoon. So on the way home, because it's like 2-lane, windy. My child threw up, so we're just going to go ahead and park the car in front of your house when we get home, and we'll walk home. Gross. Like so many times.
Yeah.
So many times.
We charge more for biohazard. Yeah.
It's pretty gnarly. Yeah.
Not be cool with that. That would
Yeah.
be
My favorite is when they go, we got most of it.
Yeah. No, you didn't.
No,
You know what's funny too? They're
No, you
always like,
didn't.
"Oh, it's just some baby vomit." I'm like,
Yeah.
"But to you, it's some baby vomit. To me, that is the contents from another human being's stomach."
Yeah.
Or when their baby's 8 and is eating tricks
There's
for
pieces
dinner.
of things inside that. I don't know what that is. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
He's just
agree.
in somebody else's stomach is now all over your seats. Like,
Yeah.
Well,
it's
cool.
Anthony's favorite topic.
Yeah, so moving on from here, so those are your future plans for your shop. As far as products go and things like that, you definitely are wanting to be, you're interested in going to the optical clinic, of course. You're wanting to learn more about that and kind of dive deeper into that realm, offer customers more services, right?
Yeah.
Different options.
Yeah.
So I think Gloss Coat, again, I'll agree with everybody else here, would be the best place for you to start off, and start learning and get good with it, because
You could probably take one of those home today.
it's fun.
And what I've noticed, when I first started my business, I wasn't too worried about the coating thing, but what I've noticed with new cars is the clear coat's getting thinner and thinner, and like something different is going on. I mean, I'll have a 3-month-old Mercedes come in with paint missing, from bugs and stuff. And I can't believe how fast it's happening. So that's been one thing, like, in the back of my mind, like, okay, how do we, like, literally protect these for real? Right. Because you can't get away with just doing sealant anymore. Yeah. On brand new cars. I mean, I've had brand new cars that are 2 months old that are in way worse shape than a 1986 Honda Accord. Yeah. Like, it's crazy.
And that's a byproduct of everything going to more eco-friendly, especially in big companies where they spray the cars and make the paints.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's not only the paint manufacturers, but it's also the manufacturers themselves. One, saving money, making certain amendments to do different things, like be more green, be more effective. So they're changing their processes. They're using less product. They're doing
kind of neat as it unfolds. Like, we started something 10 years ago or 12, 13 years ago that it's actually gained in popularity, and then by market forces is becoming more relevant even after that first initial influx.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, though, when you do start realizing that it is weird. I had a tattoo artist that used to say he could smell blood when he would be tattooing. He could smell people's blood. And it's weird how, as detailers, you can get to that point with surface and clear coat.
As long as his line after that wasn't, and that's why I tattooed.
That's why I'm alive.
That's why they need that. It wasn't that, but he said that was just a byproduct of tattooing so many people. He could smell different variations in blood. And I think of that when I polish paint.
Take a bite out of you, right? Why he's tattooing on you as he's like.
He's like, oh, wait.
No. But it was that, it was seeing that in clear coat, where you start sensing almost in a weird level.
You can see the depth of the paint,
Do you use a paint depth gauge?
No.
No, I never had one either.
No, I don't. Yeah.
I think more.
I'm pretty tactile, so I, just go off feel and stuff.
Feel it out.
Yeah.
But I think
more of a marketing tool, probably in a lot of cases.
Yeah, we got to see him in action when we were at the wet sanding clinic with
Jason Coleman,
with Jason and Andy, and they got to show us their paint depth gauge and the difference. It was kind of nice being able to see a difference in the wet sanding process, and that's something that we can save for a different day, because that's a whole complicated thing in itself. But it was interesting to see a hood and how far you can go and what you'd consider safe.
Well, also the variations in a hood.
And then the variations and the spots, because that's the thing. I mean, a hood is not sprayed equally as you think it would be. There's areas where it can be several, 20 microns lower than another area, and you would have no idea visually, but maybe feeling wise, you could feel it out and know that that's been polished or something's happened at that area before.
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
I think too that for me, what I'm noticing with my customers as I continue to educate them, but also just the cost of cars nowadays. I mean, everybody goes to buy new cars and they're spending as much on a new car as they did their first house. You know, that the protecting that investment becomes a much bigger deal than it used to be. So I see the shift now.
Especially when I see a big truck. I mean, it's funny because some people just see, oh, that's just a big truck. That's just a big, Super Duty 350 or whatever it is. And I say, no, that's like a $65,000-$70,000 truck right there. You know, that's a third of a home. Here in Boise, and people in there, what? It's just a big truck though. I'm like, no, that's a lot of money just rolling down the street right there.
Well, that and the I always tell people to go look at the KBB values of their cars, because the difference on the fair condition to excellent condition nowadays it's thousands of dollars. And that's a huge deal. And so, I let them know that, I mean, a couple $100 a year, you're enjoying your car much more.
You're able to keep it longer.
Yeah, most people end up not buying a new car because now their car feels new. But I mean, just in the difference in the value of what they can sell it for is huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
I agree. Yeah, and that's very true. I mean, just and the thing is, other people too have to realize is that, we hate to say it, but we judge everything by a book by its cover. That's just how life works in general. So same thing with a car, right? You're going to judge a book by its cover. You're going to look at the outside of that car, and you're going to think this car's probably had a pretty good life because it's it's been well taken care of. Or if it's not looking great, then you might question it a little bit. So just lots of different things.
Yeah. And that's a big part of my business is doing resale or pre-sale details. And I try to keep track. I always ask my customers follow up with me. And I mean, 9.5 times out of 10, they're selling it to the first person that looks at it and for full asking price.
Yeah.
Because you can't go out and find, even on a lot, you don't see used cars that look like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've had some that come in rough shape and they look great, with just a little TLC. So, I try to keep my stats on that because it's kind of like a PR.
I had a customer that did that. The husband called me and said, "My wife is looking at a new car. I need you to clean her car because we can't afford to buy a new car."
Right.
And she said, "I'm going to just go buy a new one because this one grosses me out."
Yeah.
And he was like, "I need you to I need you to save me."
Yeah.
And that's what we did. And it wasn't bad. It wasn't that dirty, but it was just her perception of the vehicle.
You just need to feel fresh and new.
They were both overwhelmed and they didn't know where to go. And he just knew financially they weren't ready. He goes, maybe in 6 months we can. Right now we've got too much. They were buying a house. They were doing some other stuff. He was like, it's not going to work. And for him to spend the money to get it detailed, way better.
Oh yeah.
For him.
It's like a new car with one payment.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so that's what we did. And when she picked it up, I remember she was like, when can I get this done? After she picked it, she was in love. She was like, how many more times can I get this done? And I was like, as much as you want.
Yeah.
If you want to bring it in every month and have me go through it for this much money, I will.
Yeah.
If you want to bring it in every 3 months, if you want to bring it in every 6 months, if you want to bring it in once a year. And she was like, I never knew this was I never knew this was and that was her word. She goes, I thought you could only run a car through the car wash and vacuum it out. And, when my kids
it's amazing what people don't know.
She was like, I am so, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I just didn't know.
I get that all the time too. They say I had no idea how much fun it was to have a car detailed, or they've only had it detailed at like a car dealer.
Yeah, when they picked up the car or bought it used or whatever.
Yeah.
Even swirls on the paint, most people don't see any of that.
No.
Yeah.
It's not until you do see it that you can never unsee it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you show them.
Yeah. But it's nice when you do get those customers that are just like so excited and they can't believe it. And those are usually the ones that become the converts that are become your best customers because they're also your cheerleader because they're so excited about it that they voice and let all their friends know and oh my god, you guys didn't know this. And so I always like that. And then I also had my favorite customers were the ones that were so particular that their cars were literally the cleanest in the world, and they'd come in every 3 months because that one speck of dirt was, and they'd bring it washed.
Yeah.
So we did a podcast about this. Dan, I've heard about. I called it the dentist podcast. Like it's like the dentist theory.
Right.
The folks who go into the dentist, you have your dental appointment. do you brush your teeth and floss and do everything like you're cramming for a test the night before so that you can pass at the dentist, so that you don't walk into the dentist like all
I even brushed my
disheveled?
teeth before a podcast.
See, I learned from the best.
Yeah.
So, but that's the thing. Like there are some people that do that. Like
My stepmom lives in Phoenix, and she has the housekeeper come to her house to every week or every other week to do the floors, and she does the floors before they come there.
yeah.
And if she never did those floors, you would probably go in there and go, "This is the cleanest house I've ever seen."
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's that same theory is the people who brush their teeth, they brush their teeth and they floss and they do all that stuff the night before they go to the dentist for their appointment.
Yeah.
The hygienists and the dentists know
Yeah.
that you just did that because they can see the damage and all that. And I would get customers that would do that. They either just show up, unkempt, hey, we just dropped the kid, here you go. We didn't clean out any of the garbage. We didn't pick up anything. Here you go. And then I'd also have the customers that would run their car through the car wash down the street first, vacuum it out and bag everything, and then bring it to me, and the car's still dripping wet and going, okay, I'm here for my detail.
And they say, sorry, it's so dirty.
Sorry, it's so dirty. I ran it through the car wash for you.
I have had that too.
You know, you're like,
I use
clean
that.
it.
I use the dental because obviously my whole background's in dental, so I use the dental analogy all the time. That when people say, well, why would I need to get it detailed every 6 months? And I say, well, why do we go get our teeth cleaned every 6 months? We brush them twice a day. They're clean, right? And so I say the car is the same way. Like, you clean it, you take care of it in the off months, and then you need to bring it to me to do the scaling and the deep clean and keep it from getting cavities.
Polish out
So
the
I kind of
teeth,
like
you
use
know?
that same analogy. Like, it's very similar.
Yeah.
You know, where you have to have a professional every 6 months knock the junk off, right?
Well, and check
protect it.
and check for damage.
You could tell by their smile if that was going to be a good argument or not.
Well, right. And then they're like, oh, right. You know, because it doesn't, I mean, you can maintain something as much as you want, but it doesn't mean it's going to last forever just with basic maintenance. So I use that analogy all the time.
Yeah.
Just because.
It's kind of fun. I'm thinking right now, if I had myself a professional dentist, polisher with all the things, I think I'd probably there would be no enamel on my teeth. I would be polishing them all the time. They'd be like, oh, they're so white, and then I would say, oh no, I've polished through.
Yeah, well, it's like
I got a burn hole.
Well, as a detailer, all of a sudden you get a little crazy, and you do a little too much.
Yeah.
Like we had I heard from a customer that said, I clay my car every month. And I was like, you don't need to clay your car every month, man.
Yeah.
He's like, I thought I was supposed to. I was like, no. At least once a year is fine, man.
No, I've heard
need to do that.
One old guy that I learned detailing from, he would do it on every wash.
Yeah.
While the car was soapy, he would clay the car. That was just part of his wash.
Yeah. Which, I mean, good on you for doing it, but there's not a necessity for that. But it's just funny. You're like burning holes in your teeth.
You can imagine it just be obsessing
Anthony,
over there.
knock it off.
Do you have like a
Levi,
Sonic
I found
hair
this new
that's
polish. It's the best thing
No,
ever.
it's not.
Yeah, it can one-step your teeth.
Don't step your teeth. Do you have like the Sonic hair so you feel like you're buffing your teeth?
I do actually have one of those really.
You didn't see Dan's toothbrush.
I
It's
won
pretty
it.
awesome.
I won it at some type of health clinic, but it's one of those. It's like the diamond
yeah.
Sonic hair diamond.
Nice.
Like $450
that's a good one.
toothbrush,
Yeah.
and I've had it for a couple of years. And I have little different heads and all that stuff for it, but it's got 6 different functions. All the little things light up. I can do my white. I can do my clean. It has all these different little functions, and it's so funny. And it has its own little charging station. All I have to do is set the toothbrush on it, and it just glows. And I'm like, that's how to take care of your teeth.
Nice, yeah.
Rupes, move over, right? Sonic hair in the house. That's awesome. Very cool. Well, guys, I think this has been a fun podcast. I think we've learned a lot from you. Hopefully people listening have learned kind of what you do and how maybe they can do that if they want to achieve something like that, in their neighborhood, or if they live in something similar.
Can I say one more shameless plug really fast?
Yes, do it.
So I also have a team that I work with up there that we do a car show every year.
Oh, cool.
This will be our 4th year. It's a super cool car show. So if anybody in Boise has a car that they want to bring to a car show, look us up on Facebook under Cruisin' Hidden Springs. It's a super awesome car show.
All kinds of cars, classic cars, Euro
classics,
cars.
motorcycles, 4x4s, everything. Yeah, super awesome.
So, Sydney, how do people find you and your company?
So my company is called I Wash Auto Detailing, and it's like I let my husband name it. it's like the iPhone, but I wash your car, not you.
Got it right away.
Yeah. When I go to the bank, they look up like I wash. And so I am on Facebook, and my phone number and everything's on there, or you can send me a message on Facebook. A lot of people find me on Instagram because I do post pictures on my Instagram. Don't usually tell my neighbors that, but that's how people outside find me is on Instagram.
There you go. And so
I wash mobile detail.
Yeah. Very cool.
Or I wash detail.
I wash auto detailing.
Auto detailing.
Yeah.
I wash auto detailing.
Yeah.
There we
We're
go.
doing more podcasts hopefully with you in the future, and then of course we're doing more with Dan today. Get some more in the books and kind of go from there. So I think we're gonna end the show. And
rock and roll.
Thanks everybody for listening.
Thanks,
and
guys.
We will catch you in the next one. Make sure to check us out on Shout Engine, iTunes. Where else we at?
YouTube.
Like, comment, subscribe below.
And we'll catch you guys in the next one.